Hey there, baseball fans. Nathan Rohde and Shooter Hunt here with the latest episode of Coffee and Curveballs. Shooter, today we got the Area Code Underclass Games to talk about, some standouts. It took place in Compton, California at the MLB Urban Youth Academy and brought in some of the top committed and uncommitted underclassmen from around the country for 5 games in 3 days, which that's a little crazy if you ask me.
Yeah, but you know what? It's enjoyable for me. You get 5 games. You get to see hitters, some of them 20-plus at-bats over 3 days, which is incredible. And you said it there. There are some uncommitted guys, so there are a bunch of college coaches that were in attendance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it certainly was. We were all jam-packed right there in the Urban Youth Academy, which is a nice little facility. It's close to the field, so you feel like you're right on top of the action. Get a really good look, especially at the arms. But nonetheless, great couple of days or a few days to see some guys. So let's talk about them. The first guy we've got on the list is Eddie Park, left-handed hitter out of Northern California. This is a first look at a lot of guys for me, and the thing that I noticed, Shooter, was that guy can really hit.
I think he had a hit almost every time he came up. 6'1", 172 pounds. But his ability to keep the barrel in the zone for a really long time, it almost looks like he's trying to fillet the ball into the left. He's a left-handed hitter to left center, but he was able to smoke line drives that way the entire weekend. I mean, each game it was like Eddie Park, another hit. Eddie Park, another hit. But so I know those Stanford guys have got to be pumped to have him come into town. And he's an outfielder, is going to be able to play probably any position, most likely a corner spot, but left-handed hitter at the plate who can really swing the bat.
And speaking of left-handed hitters that can really swing the bat, I really liked Alex Urban, a little guy from South Carolina, committed to Clemson. He was another one. It felt like every time he got up, he had a hit.
Yeah, I started calling him Baby Benintendi because just the way he stood in at the plate. He's a Clemson recruit, 5'10", 170, so a bit shorter, but the way he sets that launch angle pre-pitch, you'd think a smaller guy, like, okay, he's not going to be able to really get into this. But, oh, no, BP, he's sending a couple balls out, able to drive the gaps, and another one who consistently got hits in games. And just his natural movements on the field, man, Clemson, really good one for them.
It certainly is. So now a guy for the Rangers, so coming out of Texas, is actually somebody I'm familiar with, so because I saw him earlier in the summer and actually have seen him as an underclassman in previous summers. But that's Mason Wynn, legitimate two-way guy for me. But we talked in last week, the Coffee and Curveballs, about Jack Leiter being undersized, but an ability to spin the breaking ball, good fastball. Mason Wynn, pretty similar. Athletic kid, big-time fastball. Breaking ball is a swing and miss pitch. And, oh, by the way, he can hit a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think the bat was quite as good over that weekend. But, I mean, it's a really good bat. I saw a great March. But, I mean, he hopped on the bump and went 5 innings of extended work, up to 95. And as I keep saying about him, he's mean out there. When he's on the mound, he is coming to get you, and he is not going to let you feel comfortable in the box. Threw a really good changeup, advanced feel for the changeup, some late faded action. But, I mean, the fastball, going 0-1 consistently, pumping strikes, and then buckling a lot of guys with the breaking ball in the mid-70s. But going those 5 innings, punched a lot of guys, and his competitive nature is what really stands out to me and is what's going to make him a really good college, if not pro arm.
For sure. So be interested in following him and what he can do in the next couple of years as a high schooler. But the next guy we've got, Shooter, why don't you fill us in on Arizona State recruit Kolten Keith?
Well, Kolten, an Arizona kid who's now moved to Biloxi, so he'll be in Mississippi for next year for his high school season. But it was the most impressive batting practice that any player took on the BP day. He's a left-handed hitter. We've known about him for a while. Jordan Banfield, our director in Arizona, I remember the day he called me and said, hey, this Keith kid showed up, and he's a stud. And he's continued to do that. It's uphill, big leg kick, strength through the zone with some loose wrists. But the power is real to the pull side. Smacked a home run on Saturday night on day 2 of the event. And, oh, yeah, he's also up to 88 on the mound and can pitch a little bit. So a lot to like there about the Arizona State recruit.
Yeah, definitely saw some big power out of him in those 3 days. So
Mhm.
then we got Cade Horton, who we've seen in the past plenty of. Was good on the mound. You said 90-92. That slider shooter, I think it would have been one of the better breaking balls if he was in the upper class portion.
Yeah, it was wipeout. It was absolutely outstanding. There were a couple times I was turning around, like, if it's 3-2, he's going to throw this thing, and this hitter has no chance. He did a great job. He's a two-sport player, a quarterback recruit at the highest level. So football may come into play in where he ends up going in college. Right now, an Ole Miss baseball recruit, but I think football is still playing strong. And like you said, up to 93 in his outing. This is while he's also quarterbacking his school back in Oklahoma. So he's not in midseason form by any means, and there's a lot of to like about his athleticism and the quick arm.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of upside there out of Cade Horton. So moving on to a Georgia recruit, another undersized guy. Of course, these guys are underclassmen, so we could see a spike in growth pretty soon. But Luke Wagner.
Oh, Luke Wagner, Pennsylvania kid going down to Georgia. I had seen him at a Pennsylvania event, I guess 18 months ago now. Really liked what he had there. And you know what? He was one of the best players at this event. 86-89, fastball jumped out, but he really spun the slider, 76-77, swing and miss pitch. And oh yeah, the next 2 days after his outing, he ended up hitting, and I think he had 4 or 5 hits. So he's just an athlete and a baseball player who gets it done and is going to get a lot of big outs at Georgia on the bump.
Exactly. So last guy to go over is a left-handed hitter out of California, actually a two-way guy, but we saw him mostly as a hitter, and that's John Vaughn. My favorite thing about him was he got jammed a little bit in an at-bat, fouled the ball off, you heard the bat crack, and so he's kind of looking at it, he's like, oh man, I just cracked a bat. So he's walking back to the dugout to get another one. The dugout's going, break it, break it. So what does John do? Boom, right over the knee, snaps it right in half. It was a very Bo Jackson-esque moment, minus the striking out part.
Yeah, there's another guy who's in football season, 6'1", 205, physical kid. Left side, love the stroke. That pull side power is there, but also can drive both gaps. I think there's much more coming. He's uncommitted, as I learned. I tweeted out that he was committed and was corrected immediately that he's very uncommitted.
Whoops.
A lot of schools on him. But the other thing we heard, too, and then we got to see, is he might be even better on the mound, where he's been up to 91 in the past, was up to 90, mostly 86, 87, 89 during that outing. But two-way star like that, who's also a football player, the athleticism's there, left-handed bat. There's a lot to like about John Vaughn.
It certainly is. I'm sure colleges will be knocking down at his door to get him to commit if they aren't already. Yeah. I'm sure they are. So, but there's 7 recruits or 7 players to look at, standouts from the Area Code Underclass Games. Looking forward to seeing more of them, Shooter.
Can't wait. The spring can't come soon enough, but the fall's coming first, so here we go.
Let's do it. We'll have plenty more on a podcast as always, so be sure to check that out on prepbaseballreport.com. But in the meantime, for Shooter Hunt, I'm Nathan Rohde. This was Coffee and Curveballs, and until next time, we'll see you guys at the ballpark.